Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Mission 5, Lesson 39, where today what we're going to do is solve multiplicative comparison word problems involving fractions. In other words, we're going to solve some word problems that involve us multiplying fractions. Let's take a look at an example right now. Oh, look! What do I see here? It's a word problem. What a coincidence. Not really, it shouldn't be because we just said we're going to be working on word problems today. But anyway, let's take a look at this word problem. It says a bag of apples weighs 7 2/10 pounds. A crate of banana is 6 times as heavy as the apples. What is the total weight of the fruit? Okay, so again, a bag of apples weighs 7 2/10 pounds. A crate of banana is 6 times as heavy as the apples. What is the total weight of the fruit? Now, let's think about what we have here. Okay, so I've read it. I'm going to use the RDW process. I'm going to draw it out here. So I have a bag of apples. Apples. And they weigh 7 2/10 of a pound. Okay, delicious apples. Yummy. And then I have a crate of bananas, and it says that is 6 times as heavy as the apples. Well, if I have a crate of bananas here, I'll make a big old crate. And, well, it says that 6 times as many here, so I'm just going to draw. I like to draw it out here first. Notice I put it in 6, and really that's 7 2/10, 7 2/10, 7 2/10, 7 2/10, 7 2/10. It's fun to say, right? 7 2/10. Like that. So that's my crate of bananas. Okay. So I have my apples, bag of apples, which weighs 7 2/10 pounds, and bananas, which is 6 times that much. And then it's asking me, what is the total weight of the fruit? So what is the total weight of all of these combined, the apples and the bananas? All right. Now, the first thing I need to do is figure out, okay, how much do the bananas weigh? I don't need to worry about the apples because it told me it's 7 2/10. But I do need to figure out now how much the apples weigh, or the bananas weigh, because it was 7 2/10 times 6, really, because it says it's 6 times as heavy as the apples. So it's 7 2/10 times 6. Let's write that down. We need to solve that. 7 2/10. Actually, I'm going to flip that because we've been doing it the other way. It's 6 times 7 2/10, like that. Okay. Now, as I can recall from when I multiply a whole number times a mixed number, I go 6 times 7, and I know 6 times 7 is 7, 14, 21, double that, 42. And now I do 6 times 2/10, and 6 times 2/10 is 12/10, because 6 times 2 is 12. Now, I also see here that, hey, I have 12/10. I can't leave it alone because it's improper. I have to rename it. So I have a whole there with 2 left over. So that's the same as 1 whole and 2/10 that I just need to combine now with that 42 that I had. So 42 plus 1 2/10 is, well, 42 plus 1 is 43 2/10. Okay, so I figured out the bananas weigh 43 2/10 of a pound. I'm going to label over here because it's good to label, right? So I have apples. I'm just going to put A. I know we're 7 2/10. And then bananas are 43 2/10 of a pound. So therefore, is 43 and 2/10 my answer, my solution to this word problem? No, it is not. It is not the solution to this word problem because we need to look very carefully at what the question in the word problem is asking for. It is asking for what is the total weight of the fruit. It is not asking for what is the total weight of the bananas. It wants the total weight of the fruit. So that means we have to combine the apples and bananas. Make sure you read very carefully the last line of whatever word problem you're solving because it's going to tell you, hey, what does it actually want the answer to? So don't get caught up in, hey, I found out what the bananas weighed and that's the answer. No, because that's not what it's asking. We had to figure out how much the bananas weighed to figure out the total fruit. All right. So I need to combine the apples and bananas. So I need to combine the 7 and 2/10 and the 43 and 2/10. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to add them. Okay, I'm going to go to a new frame here. So I'm adding 43 and 2/10, which was the bananas, plus the 7 and 2/10, which was the apples. Okay, so I'm adding these. I'm going to add the whole numbers. 43 plus 7 equals 43 plus 7 equals 50. So I've got rid of those. And now I'm going to add 2/10 plus the 2/10. 2/10 plus 2/10 is 4/10. So my solution to this problem, how much does all the fruit weigh? 50 and 4/10 pounds. All right. So I used the information as I read it. I drew it out. I made my labels here, and then I solved it. Again, always make sure when you're doing these that you are reading through it carefully and thinking about what it is actually asking for. It's going to take multiple steps. These problems are not just going to be like, hey, I do one equation, I'm done. You're going to have to do multiple steps. Like I had to do, 6 times 7 and 2/10, and then I had to do, then I had to add that to the 7 and 2/10 of the apples. Okay, so that was 2 steps right there. At least 2 steps. So make sure you're, again, reading carefully what it's asking for there so you can solve the problem. So it doesn't require any new skill of us as far as the technical skill of multiplying fractions or mixed numbers or whole numbers or any of that or adding them. We just have to combine those skills and know when to use them. And that's going to be the key today with your lesson is really thinking about and slowing it down, drawing things out, labeling things, and don't try to skip a step. Because if you try to skip a step by not putting in the work, you're going to make a mistake more than likely.